Let's start. Sorry again about this little technical issue. We already had done a couple of events with simultaneous translation, which is not easy, but here there was a little technical problem with Zoom, so we are not going to be able to do it. I know that every one of you speaks very good English, but we wanted to make you more comfortable being able to provide it in Spanish and English, the content. But it's okay, because the roundtable as well was going to be in English, and I was going to be translating simultaneously, so it's a bit less effort for me. But sorry again for the Spanish speakers that wanted to have this content in Spanish. Okay, very briefly, I wanted to share my screen here for a very brief summary of what our third quarter has been. I would say a brilliant third quarter. We're very happy about the results, investments in particular, and I'm going, as in every quarterly event, very briefly summarize what we've achieved and who we have been able to incorporate into our family of portfolio companies. For those of you that have connected that are not a partner or a limited partner or a CEO, very briefly, what we do is at Faraday Venture Partners search, analyze, and select the projects that we believe have enormous potential for profitability and value creation, and offer the investment opportunities to our partners. Our partners decide whether they want to participate or not at a club level, and we advise them on the doubts, strategy issues, or deal issues that they have, and structure the investment for the last 2 years in a regulated fashion. And then, once invested, we follow up, and we try to help, in particular in commercial terms, I would say, and financial as well, the companies that you or partners have invested, and try to help them get to a good exit. Up today, we are 254 partners. Today is one of the record days of the year, I guess, with 5 partners in the day. So that's great. 68 limited partners in our fund, Faraday Europa 1, venture capital, and 83 investment opportunities in 47 projects. Obviously, we invest in follow-on rounds of financing. We've made 86 investments in 34 projects, okay, for 14 million euros invested through the clubs exclusively, and 31 disinvestment opportunities in 14 companies. Obviously, we've had 5 exits. We've told you about them. 3 of them in 2020, so very recent, and we are negotiating over a 6th exit. We're very happy about it. But we've also had some liquidity windows in the next rounds of financing of some of our portfolio companies, well, actually in 9 of them, apart from the 5 exits. So with that, we've been able to provide capital gains of over 5 million euros, mainly in the last 2-3 years, to our partners, achieving a global IRR, taking into account as well as of our 5 write-offs of 17.97%, nearly 18% there. And we've been able to invest with most early stage VC firms in Spain, most reputed ones. And we're beginning to invest with some early stage VCs in Germany, and very soon in Belgium as well. We've also invested with foreign Series A and Series B investors in the A, B rounds of our best startups, the ones that have achieved that status and have asked for these rounds of financing. This is our current portfolio. We're very proud of them, and very proud to have incorporated, you see the last 3 names, there is Coinscrap Finance, the Beemine Lab, Toucan.ai, which are going to be the protagonists of this event today, the round table, and which I am not going to be able to translate simultaneously, but I'm sure that you will enjoy a lot what they've been achieving lately. So what about this quarter? Well, in terms of investments for the clubs, We've closed new investments, as I was saying, in Spain, in Coinscrap, fintech, and Beemine, biotech, I would say. He'll explain it better than me, obviously. And Toucan.ai, or third investment in Germany. The fourth, which is the next line, a further German investment is pending close of transaction. Well, it has been closed. It's being closed today. So we're very happy about our fourth investment as well, which we will present in the next event, the next quarterly event. And we've also closed reinvestment in existing portfolio companies in Smartbell, also from the fund, explain later, and a new, reinvestment in one of our Spanish portfolio companies as well that is being closed in the next couple of weeks. There are new opportunities coming up. We're very excited about them. It's 3 investment opportunities that will come for Spain, Benelux, and Germany, not in that order. I don't want to say the order, but we're very happy to have identified the first Belgian company that we're going to invest, also related to the fintech scene, and which is a scene that we know particularly well in Faraday because of our background before, and which has some synergies with some of our fintech portfolio companies as well. So very happy about that. And that's it for our quarter. Oops, I'm going to talk very little. I'm not going to explain what the main reasons for our fund and strategy are. We are very happy as well on that side. There's been new partners coming into the fund in the last week, around 500,000, 450,000 in the last 7 days. So we're very happy about that. Thanks a lot for joining our fund. We really believe it is the best moment ever for early stage venture capital, both for macroeconomic and microeconomic industry reasons. And we've been able to achieve a very nice rhythm of investments in the sense that we are being able to invest more or less one company a month, thanks to our background and portfolio, existing portfolio, and the way we move, which is quite quick, I guess. And some of the operating aspects of the fund. Please, anyone that is interested in joining us through the fund, contact us after the event, and we'll be happy to deep dive with him into the aspect of this vehicle. So from the fund, we have 11.4 million in commitments, but also a very nice pipeline of both private and public investors that could be covering half of the fund very soon. And the first 80 investments, as I was saying, the 3 of them, Beemine, Coinscrap, and Toucan, are also being invested from the fund. Smaller tickets than from the club because the fund reserves bigger tickets for their Series A or pre-Series A rounds and later. The 3 projects that we're going to be investing in Germany, Belgium, and Spain are also going to be invested from the fund. And we are working on integrating the fund reporting with our extranet so that limited partners also have access, as our partners have always had access to the reporting of each particular company of the fund, and they can deep dive into the information that they provide to us, in particular if they can help and they have few contacts that they could leverage for them. And we'll be having hopefully, one of the things that excites us the most is that today we're having the first dinner between partners and CEOs of the portfolio companies, physical one. After this event, we're going to a terrace nearby. We'll be having that same event in Germany and in Belgium later this year in December. And we will have the Christmas event as well in Spain. So we are really happy to being able to be back to physical and to touch each other and to have dinner together and to properly network. So you'll be hearing about our Christmas event very soon. So without further ado, let's bring in our protagonist and and welcome the Beemine Lab, Toucan, and Coinscrap to our family of portfolio companies. I'm going to take away. Great. Okay. Hello, Dennis. Hello, Jaime.
Hello.
We work together. We have the same background image. I briefly introduce. This is the managing partner, managing director of Spain, managing director of Germany, Jaime and Dennis. Welcome. And I quit for you to present our three protagonists this night.
Hello.
So, okay, well, thank you, Gonzalo. Good afternoon to all the audience and entrepreneurs who are with us today. Before we start, okay, with the roundtable, let's briefly introduce ourselves. Okay, I start with me. As Gonzalo said, I am partner and director of Spain. Okay, and today we have the pleasure to have the three CEOs of our three lastest company to join the Faraday family. Okay, two from Spain and one from Germany. So it's Coinscrap and Beemine from Spain and Toucan from Germany. I will briefly introduce the two Spanish companies, and Dennis, director in Germany, he will introduce the German company Toucan. Okay, so first of all, David, we have David Conde, who is the CEO of Coinscrap Finance, a platform that offers financial planning microservices via API or white label to banks and insurance companies. And from the other side, we got Telmo Well, CEO of Beemine, that is a biotech company, to the manufacture and commercialization of pharmaceutical products with cannabis extras and other active ingredients from apiculture. Okay, so good afternoon, David, Telmo.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Hi.
I let Dennis, so you can introduce yourself, and Florian also.
Thank you very much, Jaime, and thank you, Gonzalo, also for the opening words. So I guess a great deal of the partners who are attending today have met me at some occasion over the last couple of months and years. So very, very happy to be here with you today again. Very unhappy that I won't be able to join the dinner tonight, but I hope maybe for the Christmas dinner we'll all be able to see each other again. So I also want to welcome obviously Telmo and David, and especially Florian as one of the managing directors and founders of Toucan.ai. Toucan has started with the very, very honorable mission to try and make meetings more efficient and shape the future of work. And they do that with a software as a service sort of software that they are going to add to services like the one we're using today, as in Zoom and Microsoft Teams. But I'm sure that Florian is going to tell us a little bit more about that in the course of the roundtable. So welcome everybody, and I'm looking forward to our discussion this evening.
Yeah, hi, pleasure to meet you all.
Okay, so let's start with the roundtable. So thank you, well, the three of you, to take in the time to attend to this event with us. And well, for the benefit of those in the audience who do not know you, okay, please provide us with a brief introduction of your career trajectory and a description of your company and your principal value propositions. Are we gonna start with you, David, for example?
Okay, great. Good afternoon to everyone. Very nice to meet you all. And it's a pleasure to share what we do at Coinscrap Finance. Regarding my personal background, I have worked as a private banker in a bank in Spain for 10 years as wealth manager, and always my background was related to financial planning. Actually, I was one of the first European financial planners in Spain. So one of our main purpose when we founded Coinscrap, it was like helping people in order to understand better their finance and give them like recommendation in order to improve it. So this is our main proposition, and we do that developing solutions solutions, white label solutions, or through API solutions for banks and insurance companies that can be included in their apps, in their webs, in their channels, in order to improve the financial health of the users. And that is basically our main purpose, and the way that we are helping people to improve their financial health.
Okay, Telmo, we can go with you if you want.
Yeah, sure. Hello, everyone. Nice to meet you all. I am Telmo Well. I am the CEO of Beemine. My background is in economics, but I have strong experience in product design, user experience, and also in technology. But 3 years ago, I started this project, Laboratorios Beemine, or the Beemine Lab, as a commercial brand. And we are the first biotechnology company in Spain who is designing and producing solutions with natural synergies that connects the potential of cannabis, beekeeping, and different active principles to integrate the power of nature in the favor of the well-being of the persons. No? So our main value proposition is this idea of how we can promote the balance between nature and people and take care one of each other in a way of intelligent. As a company, we are like we have different solutions. Most of them are in the cosmetic area, but we are also developing trials and clinical resources about like the impact of the cannabis in the well-being.
Okay. Thank you, Florian. It's your turn.
All right, so yeah, I actually have a legal background to start with. So I was working in law firms for quite a while, then moved out of that after a while and moved to Germany because I'm originally actually from Vienna, from Austria. Yeah, in Germany, I've been working for a startup for quite a while, sort of basically started as one of the earliest employees there. Moved into product development there, was building up especially the matching platform there. And after that, I met my co-founder there, Lucas, and we decided to found our company. As to our main value proposition, essentially, well, we're trying to make meetings much, much better for companies by simply reducing the time that you all spend in meetings. And we tend to spend more and more time in that. So our solution is quite straightforward. You connect it to Zoom, to Teams, or to other video calls that you have to right now. Our software then afterwards transcribes those calls into text in German and in English right now, but we are working on Spanish in the future. And then it summarizes those calls to the most important points. So you get afterwards not tens of pages of text, but you get the most important points on half a page. And that's pretty much it.
Brilliant. Well, thank you to the three of you for giving us a brief introduction of what you're doing and sort of what the real value is that you're trying to give to your customers and to your clients. I mean, we've recently invested into your companies from Faraday, both from the clubs and from our fund. And all three of you are still at pretty early stages, and then obviously have the ambition to become leaders in your segments and in your industry. So on that journey, we are sure, and we've seen some of the things that you've already had to overcome some difficulties, maybe up until now. We've all know what happened last year. And we at Faraday, we really love to hear when you go through struggles, because that's when we can specialize and learn with you and help you. So what would you say were the most important difficulties and also the learnings that you took from them in the launch of your business up until now? And maybe this time we start with you, Florian, and then go the other direction.
All right, so in our case, I think the toughest choice at the very beginning is finding sort of the product market fit. And we had the benefit of having a really good advice at the very start of our journey, because we talked to a VC back then in the United States, in Silicon Valley. And he said, well, the best companies he witnessed started to approach a rather broad value proposition for a certain market, and then step by step narrow it down until you found a niche that you can provide significant value and then dominate that niche. So in our case, that meant we started to provide superior speech recognition solution in German and English. We found, of course, last year with the pandemic that people started to spend more and more times in meetings, and we saw there an opportunity to actually focus on that. So sort of narrow down from speech recognition to speech recognition for meetings. And when we started talking to those customers, they all said, well, you have half an hour of a meeting, and afterwards you have 10 to 20 pages of text. We would need an easier way basically to find the most important parts. And so we developed the second part of our software to really summarize the most important parts, fully automated, and provide benefit there. And currently, of course, we are in the midst of further narrowing it down. Simply we are providing, because every company essentially has meetings, big or small. So we are focusing right now on especially project managers, because we see a lot of potential in these areas, especially in IT. And on the other side, on the legal market, where we have a really big pilot project for this quarter with the Austrian Justice Department. Sort of these two as the first meetings that we are focusing here. So I think our key takeaway at the very beginning is not what to do, but what not to do. Yeah.
Thank you. Telmo, what about you guys?
Well, as every business and startup, I think we face a lot of difficulties, like the basic ones in the idea of management, growth expectations, investor relations. Like all the steps were really difficult to face, no? But one of the learnings I really have from these 2 years is the key for me of the management of the business, and there are like 4 words. Is sell high, buy low, collect early, and pay later. No, that for me was one of the most things that I learned these 2 years, because our business is a business that makes cash flow and have a lot of suppliers, clients. You know, it's a business of cash and selling products. No, so that's one of the most learnings in going to the expectations of growth and the investor relationships. I learned so far that people are crucial. Like build a strong team is one of the most important things, and build not just the team, just building the culture of like what are you doing, and motivate the people in the way that they're doing something beyond like a simple work. That's one of the crucial things to work and to growth. And going beyond the main difficulties of every business, our industry, the cannabis industry and the well-being industry or healthcare, have especially difficulties and barriers that are like difficult to face. No, when we start this business, we were one of the leaders in the market, and we start this business with an unclear regulation. Far away, like in 2018, no one understand in Spain how to launch a CBD or cannabis product that can go to a retail shop or selling online. No, it was not clear. There was no suppliers. There was no like any lawyer or legal advisor that knows how to work with it. So we learned in the idea of, if we don't have like a path to follow, we need to see like similar industries and trying to recollect ideas of these industries. And then as we are, one of the main learnings is we apply the similar patterns of the cosmetical industry to our development of biotechnical and pharma industry of cannabis. No, and one of those decisions were the most correct one, because when we start looking to the cosmetic patterns, we find a lot of suppliers, legal advisors, most of them that help us to develop like a way to leading the cannabis industry in Spain. And the main also in the specific healthcare learning is like the science is for scientifics. because it took for us more than 3 years, and now we are in the point that we can start saying that we will face in the next years developing and research and development of trials and real biotechnology and healthcare solutions. And it took us like 3 years because we've been not scientifics at all. So we've been like just entrepreneurs and junior people, and now we are becoming experts in the material. So yeah, that's one of the main learnings of this journey.
Well, a lot of takeaways there also for other entrepreneurs, I'm sure. So I'm looking forward to sort of you also exchanging with our other portfolio companies, which is obviously one of the important facts that we also want you to do. David, what about yourself? How has your journey been? What have you been facing?
Our journey was tough, like every startup. Actually, we had to pivot like 12 months since we launched our first solution. We started, now we are selling products to banks and insurance, but we started being like a B2C company. We developed an app for micro saving using like rules like rounding up or percentage of income. So helping final user to save and invest in financial products from one of our partners. It was Caser Seguros, one insurance company from Spain. We have to make that pivot and that decision. It was really hard because I mean the app was working pretty well. The users were quite happy with the app and the engagement was quite good. But we realized that making money with the app is going to be a very difficult task. We tried to charge for saving, and that was like something no natural. So we decided to pivot quite soon, and it was like I think a success because we've been able to find our first client for the white label because the technology was pretty well developed. As I said, the engagement was really good. So we've been able to close our first B2B client, and we realized that with one client, with one white label, we were able to reach a lot of clients without spending money in marketing. That was the issue that worry most about this B2C model. We found out that earning money was difficult, making money with this B2C was difficult, and scaling would take a lot of tons of money in order to scale the product to be profitable. So we had to pivot like 12 months after launching the first product, and we think we took the right path, and now we are working with some of the biggest financial players in Spain, such as Banco Santander, Bankinter, EvoBanco, Mafre, or Caser Seguros. But when we pivot, and now that we are working with these big players, obviously there are other worries to think about. For example, we are providing not just our service through APIs, our financial planning services through API, we also are providing our service in a white label solution that is quite interesting for banks and insurance because it's almost a plug and play that could be integrated like everywhere in their channels, in their apps, in a very easy way. And I mean, the banks and insurers are very interested in launching things like fast and without a lot of budgets and without a lot of time. So the threat here is that the banks, when you start to offer your product, the banks at the beginning are agree with your white label, but then when the UX guys come, when the people from product come, when people from the financial products come, they started to, hey, would you make some slightly changes here and here and here? So, and even they offer you money. So, I mean, the deal is not quite bad, but the problem here is that not always are scalable things. So you have to learn to say no, and it's a tough decision to say no to something that brings money to your company. So this is something that already worry us, and one of our main challenges for the next future is to be able to decide what to do and what not to do And scalability is one of our main purpose inside the company in order to grow at the path that we're interested. So this is, I think, two of the most important learnings that we had in our career.
Okay, well, thank you, three of you. Well, following a little bit the question of that Justin is asking, obviously for many businesses, the global pandemic still plays a fundamental part in the daily going on. And also for the three of you, for your three companies. Could you tell three of you guys, how has the COVID affected your businesses? Okay, and what are the lessons that you have learned? And where do you find yourself today? So maybe we can start changing the order. Telmo, we'll start with you.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, the global pandemic and COVID affect us in different ways. The first way is, the Beemine Lab has two revenue models. One of them is B2C and the other one is B2B. No, in the B2C, like we see how the online sales growth a lot. No, and we discovered like CBD and well-being products become popular during the lockdown. No, so we've been worried at the beginning like how we gonna scale, but we see like our sales in online start growing. In the other side, in the B2B, like the retail sales in the main one goes down. But not at all. Despite that, the close of the retails, we discovered that one of our primary channels in the retail is the pharmacies, and we discovered and realized like the pharmacies were the point to be. So we use the COVID as a strategic for penetration in the pharmacy. So during the COVID, we decided like the focus of the next year, and this year it will be like online and pharmacies grow. So for us, the COVID, as we are like a really young company, give us the opportunity to see more clear which were the channels to follow and scale, basically. Yeah. And to that, today we are in the process of becoming this pharma lab and trying to penetrate the product placement in more than 8,000 pharmacies. So yeah, that's one of the things of the COVID.
Okay, great. Thank you, Florian.
Well, for us, it was quite clearly that we then refocused on meetings simply because not only that meetings got up, like the average company had suddenly more than 30% more meetings, and employees found themselves sitting in meetings all day from beginning of the day until the evening. But also people realized, okay, this is clearly not working so well. What could we do to improve these processes? And do I really have to sit in every single one of those meetings? So we really noticed that shift, and of course that people are getting used to using an online tool like Zoom, for example. That helped us quite a lot, to be honest. So basically we would not be here where we are today if COVID didn't happen, simply because we saw that clear shift in pandemics. And the interesting thing that we are thinking about right now, since COVID, well, there are always cycles now, and the question is, how long will this pandemic continue like this? And we actually hope that it's going away at some point. And the question is now, what if people will go back to physical meetings? Do we actually have a solution for that as well? A quite simple solution where we can integrate our Toucan through a telephone number into like conferencing tools, that hardware that is already being used for the last 20 years. But it will be quite interesting whether or not people will continue having online meetings like this. We believe so, simply because it's much cheaper, much more efficient for so many more companies. Then there will be some form of hybrid model, and but we have to think ahead of what is the next step already.
Thank you, David. We'll go for you.
Yeah. For us, COVID and the pandemic, I mean, we are in the digital space, and so the banks and insurers are also. So for us, I think it was actually last year, it was a really good year for us because banks and insurance, they realized that the new way of be in contact with their clients has to be their mobile. So yeah, they were like looking for new solutions that allow them to engage better with the clients, and obviously financial health, micro saving, micro investment, this type of solutions are one of the main. Yes, as I said, pandemic and COVID, I think it was a really good year for us. It was a really good thing for us, and improve our business. Regarding the only thing that we realized, it was like the budgets were more tight. So yeah, the prospects, they negotiate a lot the price. That there was something that at the beginning don't happen, and we have to struggle a little bit negotiating the price and the license, because obviously the business of banks and insurance that have physical places that were closed, the budgets has to be tighter. The good news was that the digital budget tends to improve, but even then we have to struggle a little bit because of the budgets. And another thing that we realized that is, I think is because of that, it was like there were a lot of changes between the middle management inside our prospect clients because of COVID and the pandemic, and this affect also us a little bit, because some prospect that we had quite advanced, we have to start again because a new manager comes, and we have like to recover again the deal and to try to work for that. But in general, as I said, for example, with Banco Santander, the mobile department was the people working in the mobile department was multiplied by 4. So yeah, I think taking into consideration that we are in that digital space, this situation, I think it benefits us.
Great. Well, thank you to the three of you for sort of giving this vision of what happened over the sort of during the pandemic. I mean, what it also shows us is that every challenge, every struggle always brings opportunities for some. And I think because all of you are sort of challenging legacy systems and legacy ways of doing things, I think you're all coming out stronger out of this whole situation. So now that we've really spoken about the past, that we've spoken about sort of what's going on today, what about the future? Sort of what are your main priorities in the coming months, the big milestones for 2022, and most importantly, how can we as Faraday help you? How can you leverage the network behind it? And I would maybe ask Telmo again to start on this one.
Well, the main priorities for us, for Beemine, is a growth in revenue and trying to open more clients, especially in the pharma industry. But also we are looking to the international. We hope like the next year will be the first year that we could say that we are established in the European market, and we are focused on Portugal, France, and Italy. But the main thing is this idea of building a strong position in the pharmacy industry, but also trying to become one of the best brand recognitions in the cannabis industry. And one of also the like a big milestone, not in the economic side, more in the research and development, is trying to launch these new 6 products that we will launch next year. We hope it will be 6, but maybe will be less, and start these clinical trials that we are working on, that mostly is the absorption of cannabis in the skin. So we are like working with the Universidad Complutense and other pharmacy like doctors and pharmaceuticals to trying to make like a appropriate paper that help us to maybe build a patent or something like that. Yeah.
Cool. Before passing on to David, maybe how could we help you? Is there something like a specific ask that you say, okay, if you had a wish from Faraday, what would it be?
Yeah, I hope Faraday can help us, giving us a strong financial, like how can I say, financial help, not just only in the founding, but more in the strategic area, no? And also giving us like the idea of searching for good indicators of growth, giving us like a good way to make. Also, Faraday can help us in the idea of searching new clients and with these initiatives that you are working on, and also like connecting and building this network of entrepreneurships, and that we can also like find potential partners and yeah, I think that's all the main ones.
Great, thank you. David, what brings the future for you and for Coinscrap?
Our main purpose for 2022 is to make more money, obviously. So to do that, we would like to close more clients in Spain, obviously. We would like to be the kind of the leader of financial planning in a B2B model. So I think that we are already working with some of the top 10 banks and insurance, but we would like to keep this path and keep growing clients in Spain. But also one of our main challenges is to start to scale international. We have closed last year. We have closed some projects in France with a French bank, Natixis, but also in Mexico and Brazil with Mafre. That is, but these two projects was closed by the corporative department of Mafre that is based in Spain. But having these two first success case in mostly in Mexico, that we think that is a market that is a very good fit for us for financial planning, where there just 35% of the population is banked. We think that the opportunity there is huge. There are competition also, but I think it's still huge. So one of our main challenges is to start to scale, not just in a pool way with our actual clients, and to be more push in order to open new markets and to close new international clients. Well, the second challenge is, as I said, is to we've been defining again the values of the company. One of them is scalability. So the second challenge is to keep working on that, to be focused on everything that we do has to be scalable in company, not just product, also marketing, even administration, support, like everything has to be scalable. So yeah, this last funding round is going to bring more investment in order to do that and prepare to scale even faster. So how Faraday can help us? Yeah, besides obviously the investment, I think the partners and the members of the club are related to the financial sector. So for us to be able to have a warm intro with some middle management, I mean, it's crucial. I mean, we realize that the B2B marketing, the inbound marketing, I mean, it works, but it's quite far more effective that to have a warm intro to someone that knows that the guy that can purchase our services. So I think this kind of smart money where we can find like some warm intros is basic for us, and that's one of the reasons that we choose Faraday for this funding round. That's our main challenge.
Thank you very much, David. Last but not least, Florian, tell us a bit about the future and where you're going with this.
So yeah, I mean, in the near future, basically I have two focus points for this quarter, for at least. So on the one hand side, we started off with transcription, and now it's really about making those summaries better and better and better. And for that, our MVP is still in development. So basically, we have first people using it, first people actually paying for that, but it will be enhanced over the course of the next couple of months. So one of our focus points will, of course, making this better and better and better, and especially smoother to use. So ideally, you can have that as an enhancement and towards the direction of creating a second brain for our company that provides like all the nodes in one place and can analyze all those parts. That's the one thing that is currently one of the biggest challenges. Because with that product as well, not only transcription, we want to continue scaling, and this will be super, super important for 2022. And on the other hand, we have that rather big project with the Austrian Justice Department, which is essentially has two benefits. It's a very big client which already spend a lot of money on transcription and essentially their court meetings. But on the other hand, of course, through that, we will completely get a new data set, mainly training legal language for German, which is super valuable in that space, because then it opens up a new completely clientele in the future. And yeah, but essentially these are the focus points for now. And for 2022, we would be looking forward, especially, well, essentially introductions to companies, enterprise companies especially. We are in contact with the Telefonica group, who also invested through our VC Vira in us. Intros to companies such as these that have either in Germany or in Spain, maybe a branch in other European states. That would be super, super helpful, because getting into that, it takes a lot of time, of course, to close these deals. Warm intros go a long way, and having champions, especially in the inside of the companies, that is basically the way to get in there. So yeah. Oh, and one last thing, if one of you has experience in project management or knows somebody in that space, love to talk to you, because every kind of feedback in that area, of course, helps us improve our product.
Okay, perfect. Well, thank you. So we're getting to the end. Just last one question, and this is going to be for the three of us also. So now that you all gotten to know each other a little bit throughout this roundtable, what would be the question, just one, okay, that you would ask on each other's business creation? So we can do, for example, David, you can ask Florian, okay? Then Florian, for example, Telmo, and Telmo, David. So we can start from David asking Florian.
Okay. So, well, first of all, congratulations, because Florian, I think it is a great idea. So actually, I have this problem in all my meetings, like write it down what is being said. But one question that arose when I heard your presentation was, how do you cope with GDPR? I mean, I think you are well aware that maybe the data and the conversations are like sensitive. We kind of have the same problem at Coinscrap, because we work the financial planning, we use transactional data. So sometimes providing the service on the cloud for banks is like quite hard for the IT department. So sometimes we have to deliver our product on premise. So in your case, how do you cope now, or how do you think you can deal with that issue?
A very good question, because that comes up quite often, of course, as you can imagine. Essentially because we're dealing with sensitive data, as it's voice data, and on the other side, especially because it's business data that relates to the company's business that are doing the meetings. It really depends on the client. So there are a couple of issues that we are facing. So who gives the approval for recording? That usually has been done through the meeting software. So like Zoom usually asks you for your permission before recording. So luckily that is currently being done by other tools already. As for where that data is then processed and stored, there are a couple of options. So our data, usually our servers are in Germany, and if a customer chooses to use our solution in a cloud variation, then basically that's the data is not leaving Germany essentially, or the respective country where that data the company would be sitting. And for bigger clients, Justice Department, for example, or Telefonica, they most likely will require an on-premise solution. That is possible, and that is possible only because we developed actually the algorithm ourselves over the last couple of years. So speech recognition especially is the key technology here. We're actually one of the few providers for German that actually can do that. But yeah, it's possible to do it on premise, depending on the product size and the client's needs. We can do that. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, so Florian, we can ask Telmo now.
Yeah, I mean, Telmo, a cool product for certain, especially coming from Berlin. There is quite a need for CBD, I can tell you. I would be wondering, I mean, as far from what I get, you founded the company quite some years ago. How did that change, like the market perspective from CBD being maybe like a rather niche product at the very beginning to becoming more and more mainstream, especially in Spain? Because here in Germany, in my street alone, there are probably 4 CBD shops already, and they all came within the last one and a half years.
Yeah, totally. In Germany, the CBD market is growing so big, but we see the market more in the pharmaceutical area, not in the recreational or boutiques, no, that you are seeing. So we are trying to educate the clients and the customers and trying to penetrate in the pharma industry. That is one of the most difficult things. But we see, like, from a untotally known product, like 2 years ago, we call a pharmacy and say, hey, we have a good product pipeline of CBD products that can help you build a new category in your pharmacy. And the pharmaceutical maybe say, I'm not interested at all, nothing at all. And these days, like, they are calling us. It's so crazy. Like, the pharmaceutical now is like sending mails to us, like, hey, I want your products. And so yeah, I see like the market is going to be mainstream in the next. So it's growing a lot, and I think in the next 2-3 years will become so popular in the pharmacy industry. Yeah.
Okay, now thank you very much, Telmo. And now, Telmo, if you can ask David.
Yeah, David, congratulations also, because I think it's a quite interesting and complex project. And from my side, I am not a specialist in the fintech or in the technology area, but I find it interesting to see which is your idea or your vision about like the blockchain and the blockchain technology that is so topic technology these days for fintech. So are you using it, or are you building any services around it?
Yeah, no, actually, no. I mean, I quite obviously I'm quite interested in not just blockchain, also cryptocurrencies and everything around that. Actually, I was like a couple of years ago, I was advisor of ICO, that is like issuing a new coin using blockchain and using tokens. And I was the economic advisor on one ICO that, I mean, it was quite controversial word. So I quite interested in that field, because it's, I mean, we always say that it's like when internet arises. It's like blockchain, it's able to change everything. Blockchain, the technology is able to eliminate like these intermediaries that in financial sectors is quite frequent to use. For example, the stock markets. You can using blockchain, you could trade like peer-to-peer or lending or selling a house without notary. So blockchain has tremendous potential. So obviously I'm quite interested. Actually, I did an Oxford course about the application of blockchain. I'm not a technical guy also, so I don't know like the specifics of the technology, but the application for business of blockchain are like huge. I think it takes time, as it happens with internet. It's not like from one day to another day. It takes time to adapt like everything, and the regulators have to study a lot how to implement this solution. But I'm quite sure that a cryptocurrency from the state is going to arise quite soon, pretty sure from the European market. And I think the cryptocurrencies, even they have this gambling smell, and people is like sometimes is getting crazy about how the Bitcoin can rocketing. I think the cryptocurrencies has come to stay, and the blockchain, not just the cryptocurrencies, the blockchain is going to be implementing a lot of solutions in a lot of processes in the financial sector. So we are not doing that yet, but for sure we are having a look, and if we have some product that could be used blockchain in a good sense, because when you have like a technology like blockchain, everyone look for an implementation, even they make no sense, because sometimes people use blockchain just to say that I'm using blockchain. But if we find a space where some scalable product that we have can use blockchain, for sure, and blockchain is solving a problem, we are for sure going to use it.
Thank you. You know, in Beemine, we can. I also like cryptocurrency interested, and I make able to pay with cryptocurrencies through Beemine website. So we are and we make already like 12 transactions. It's not normal and not topic, but many people from Iceland and different weird places like that. When we receive a transaction in Bitcoin, it's like, whoa, we stop like all the people and say,
success.
We say that some products are interesting.
Nice.
Well, thank you, the three of you, David, Florian, and Telmo. Thank you very much for being part of this roundtable. And congratulations for the project, and very welcome to the Faraday family. And now let's move on to the Q&A, with the audience. So talking now to the audience. If you have any questions, please write them through the on-screen chat, and we will try to solve the ones that we have time for. I'll see some of them so far. Let me check.
I have one already pinpoint out. So I was this was actually for Florian. We got that from Goretti. Thank you very much for the question. It's how does Toucan validate the AI reduction of content to summary format?
A very good question, of course. So essentially, we validated basically to user feedback. So basically what we provide at the end of a meeting is our suggestions for summaries, and they can actually accept those suggestions or replace them, and we log each and every change on that. And how we started is quite simply, we are a company with a lot of meetings, so we tested it internally. There was that one thing, and of course, after every meeting, so every meeting that we use internally is being used for our platform, and basically our summary is created and then regularly checked. So through that process, of course, we create step by step a bigger and bigger data set. And the other thing is, so what we have other checking mechanisms where we have a bigger data set of named entities basically, and keywords where we afterwards run those tests automatically through a summary to see, okay, actually, does that make sense or not? That gives us more or less an indicator whether or not our summary was actually correct or not. And that through those ways we actually have like different ways of basically checking whether a summary is correct or not. But I think the best ones is actually feedback from the users themselves. And we log those things, and through that we currently like step by step are improving. I hope that answered the question.
Great, thank you very much, Florian.
Thank you, Florian. I think we have another one. I think also from Goretti. This is for Telmo. Do the Beemine products require regulatory approval?
Yeah, for sure. You need to pass different steps in the European regulations.
Okay, thank you. I think we don't have any more questions, so let's wait a little bit. Okay, no more questions asked.
Just in case anybody doesn't find where to point the questions, because that sometimes happens as well. So on the bottom of the window, there's a little hand that you can raise, and next to that hand is a Q&A button. So for the ones who might have not found it, we might give you a minute or something.
I have a question for Florian.
Go on.
Go on.
Florian, I really see your tool really interesting, and also I was wondering if I can maybe apply it to my team. So are you already working with like small companies, like between 12, 15 employees, and also is able to in Spanish language, or it's just in English?
So most of the clients that we are actually serving right now are so SMEs. We have a few bigger clients, but the majority of them are smaller. So that to answer the first part. And second part, unfortunately, in Spanish, we do not have enough data for the speech recognition, which is sort of the first step here. We specialized in German because we're in Germany with different accents there, and English. But actually Spanish is the next language that we will be targeting, so definitely in the future, but unfortunately at the moment no Spanish meetings.
Okay. Once it's ready, let us know. We'll be happy to be like beta users.
Absolutely, thank you.
Us too. I mean, beta users pay less, no, than proper users.
Or more.
So I just jumped in because I wanted, while someone else, if you want, there's a lot of partners and LPs here I see the participants. Thanks a lot for coming. But while they're joining, just to let everyone know that in a couple of weeks max, the 3 companies have joined our commercial empowerment program, by which we want to leverage the contacts, these warm intros they were talking about, for big companies or distributors or banks or whoever, as we did for LendySmart, like a month and a half ago or 2 months ago, which has already closed the first deal to the commercial program and is nearing their second deal, thanks to you, our partners. So both the 3 of Coinscrap, Toucan, and Beemine Labs are joining this program. We're building their, this program is, we build the pipeline of the 10 most relevant strategic clients, normally by ticket size, but it may be the case that it's strategic because of the data that they could provide to train your artificial intelligence algorithms. But all of you connected here, most of you are partners, and all the partners, you will be receiving this pipeline, and you will be asked to, if you can collaborate, you will have an incentive for that, and we are very happy to bring in these 3 companies to our commercial empowerment program, and hope to get you on board because it's working. So thanks a lot for that, for both the companies to join in and to trust us to share their pipeline of the 10 most relevant strategic clients. It's only going to be shared with our partners that have all signed the confidentiality agreements. And thanks a lot for the partners that are helping these early stage startups make these warm intros, because as they were saying, if you want to enter a big enterprise company, a big distributor, something that can really make a difference in the first few years of existence, sometimes it's hard, it's long cycles, and I can assure you it's very serious professional people, and they have proper solutions that we have tested and got to know them before investing, of course. So you will making both the CEOs of these companies and the purchasers of their solutions or distributors very happy. So thanks a lot if you could do that. Let's see if there are any other questions. Doesn't look like it. Looks like beer time.
Beer o'clock.
Beer o'clock. Well, thank you. Thanks a lot, Dennis, Jaime. Thanks a lot, Telmo, Florian, and David for joining in. David is already waiting. I see that there's a lot of partners that are going to the dinner tonight in the Lobo Terrace. We'll be going there in 15-20 minutes, so we'll be there a bit earlier. And lots of luck for the next months and the next big milestones. I know that luck is not the most important thing, so we'll try to help you on the non-luck side as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot. It was a pleasure.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Thank you.